Pugnet, Monday speaking. Uh-huh. Oh, I see. Well, don't you worry, Mrs. Baker. We will be right down. Yes? Okay, goodbye. We've got our first case, George. Let's roll.
Excuse me? Oh, where are we going?
To the, is it to the cafeteria?
Cafeteria.
Yes, cafeteria. Oh.
Ready, Kate?
Ready.
Ah, are you Mrs. Baker?
Yes, I am.
Mrs. Baker, I'm George Frankley. This is my partner, Kate Mundy. We're from Pugnet.
We came just as soon as you called.
Let's have a good look at you. You can never be sure these days who you're answering the door to. Yes, you came in a hurry. Fine.
Mrs. Baker, would you mind if we stepped inside to look over the scene of the crime and check things out?
No, please, come in. I'm sorry. That's a terrible stick. Get that fixed.
Oh,
You okay?
yes, ma'am. I'm
Good.
fine. I'm fine. I can't seem to see very well, though I think I must have lost my
You
glasses.
lost your
Oh,
glasses.
look, here they are under here.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
You're quite welcome.
Now, Mrs. Baker, I wonder if you could tell us in your own words what has happened here today.
When I stepped into the corridor this morning, I was checking on what I had for supper tonight. And I noticed that the dessert I had made was gone.
What dessert was that, ma'am?
It was a special dessert for the campers' first night at camp. And I made a lovely chocolate cake, and it's all gone but one piece.
Excuse me, Mrs. Baker, did you say that there was only one piece
One piece.
missing? One piece.
All gone but one piece, and I have to serve that to 125 campers tonight.
This is highly unusual, Mrs. Baker. You mean to say that you had enough cake to serve about 125 people, and it's all gone except for one piece?
Except for one piece.
I wonder if you could show us that piece.
Sure.
Very interesting.
Well, what is it, George?
Take a look at this, Kate.
Oh.
Okay, Mrs. Baker,
Thank you very much.
we'll get right on this.
Thank you.
Now, if you see anything suspicious, you let us know, give us a call, and we'll be right over again.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my
Bye now.
George!
Good day.
Thank you, thank you.
George, can you believe this? Can you believe that somebody would be deliberately stealing a chocolate cake
I know it.
out of the mouths of our campers?
I know it seems incredible, Kate. It's amazing how someone
Oh.
will stoop so low.
I
tell you, Kate, whoever's behind this caper needs to be stopped.
For sure.
Pugnet, frankly speaking. Uh-huh. I see. Are you there now? Will you just stay there? We'll be right over. Okay. There's been another crime, Kate. Let's roll.
Hey, George! Oh!
Come on, Kate!
doing in that tree? I mean, don't you know that we have a case assault here?
You're right.
Get down out of that tree now, right now, George.
You're right, Kate. I'll be right down.
I mean, can we never do things normally, George?
Yeah, I'll be right with you,
Well,
Kate.
well, oh, George.
Come on, Kate, let's roll.
Let's roll. Let's roll.
Ready, Pete?
Ready.
Ah, are you Mr. Hood?
Yes, I'm Mr. Hood, but you can call me Robert.
Robert? Frankly, this is Monday. We're from Pugnet.
Ah, the famous Pugnet. Thank you for coming so quickly. I'm in a bit of a spot here. I'm not sure what to do.
Well, what seems to be the problem, Robert?
Well, as I was telling Frankly on the phone, I'm teaching the campers archery class this year, but as I found, there's no equipment anywhere. I can't find a bow or an arrow anywhere on this campus until just a few minutes ago when I found a few arrows.
You mean that you have found some of the missing equipment?
Well, not exactly. I found just like a few arrows, but it's the way I found them that disturbs me. They seem to be like purposely left there.
What do you mean, Robert?
Well, come in and I'll show you.
Watch your step.
This is highly peculiar. Highly peculiar.
Well, what do you think, George?
Well, I don't know, Kate. I mean, first of all, we have the missing cake, and then we have the missing archery equipment, and then we have the plugged up toilets. It's very clear to me, Kate, that someone on campus here is up to no good.
Do you really think that everything is connected together? You have your archery, you have your stolen cake, and the washrooms, they're all tied in one?
Well, we can't know that for sure, Kate. I mean, it's true no one found any initials LH over at the washroom, but I'll tell you this, that whoever was behind that, the crime over at the washroom, and the people who were behind the cake and the archery equipment were motivated by the same thing.
What's that, George?
They were out to destroy the fun of the campers here this week.
How sad.
It has to be stopped, Kate. We've got to think of something. We've got to find these people.
Well, where do we start?
I'll tell you where we start, Kate. We're going to start with the campers.
Oh, George, do you really think, just for a minute, do you really think that these campers could be responsible for something like this?
What else could it be, Kate? I mean, I know they have some pretty sweet smiles.
Well, they do.
Innocence, but we can't let our emotions rule our judgment. We've got to stick with the facts. I mean, you got to face it. We've had no problems here at Camp Pugwash all year long, but the very day these campers arrived, we started having all sorts of problems. Who else could it be but one of the campers?
Okay, George, but how are we going to find out just who this is? I mean, we don't even know the names of the campers.
We may not know the names of the campers, but I'll tell you, the computer does. All we have to do is get the computer to tell us who's here, their names, and have the computer match up the initials.
You have forgotten one very important thing, George.
What's that, Kate?
The girl that runs the computer room does not like you. Do you remember the day that you threw around her floppy disk all over the floor, you tripped across, sent everything flying? Well, she would never in this world give you that information. Besides, there are stairs involved to go into that computer room. And besides, how are you going to get into a locked door?
Well, Kate, I think I've got all those problems covered. I think I've got them covered. This girl, she may not like me, but the computer does. The computer and I get along fine. All I have to do, this girl, she has a routine. Every morning at 9:45 a.m., she runs downstairs to the cafeteria for her post-em break. I'll go in at 9:46 and I'll have 14 minutes to gather the information I need to and get out. She won't suspect a thing.
How will you open the locked door?
Oh, well, Kate, you can't be in this business as long as I have without learning a few tricks of the trade. I have a pass key.
You have a pass key to the computer room.
Of course, Kate. Right here.
Huh.
My Pugwash General Store credit card. Works every time.
George!
I know it seems unethical, Kate, and I wouldn't normally do it. But we're in a crisis situation here. This person needs to be stopped. We need to take care of this. We need to do it even though it's highly unusual. I wouldn't do this, but circumstances demand action.
I'm coming with you. It's the only safe way. After all, there's lots of stairs going up to that computer room. You kill yourself.
Okay, Kate, have it your way. It's 9:30 right now. Let's roll.
George, do we have to roll today? Couldn't we just walk?
Well, I suppose we still have enough time. Okay, yeah, let's walk today.
Thanks. Oh, George. Oh.
My dear.
Ready, Kate?
Ready.
Okay, Kate. A few strokes here and we'll find out who our criminal is. Okay, let's see who we have here. We have Christy Hatcher, Stephanie Hilty, Shenna Hosking, Todd Herman, Glenn Hiscock, Stephen Hiscock, and Keenan Hosking.
Yeah, but none of those start with their first name on an L.
Well, you're right. There's no L. There's no LH here. Maybe they've given their middle name here.
Could be. I doubt it.
Well, what are we going to do if it's not one of the campers?
Well, check the staff.
The staff?
Well,
You don't think it's one of the staff?
could be. How will we know?
Okay, I'll check the staff. We've got a match.
Who is it?
I'll send it to the printer. Should be coming up. There we go.
Well, who is it, George?
need to vacate the premises, if you know what I mean.
Think so? George, who is it? Oh, George! Well, George, frankly, who is it?
Well, Kate, there are two names on this list. The first name is Miss Lanny Patterson. You know, the lifeguard here at camp.
Oh, no. Couldn't be, George.
Why is that, Kate?
How was she? It's quite simple. She's far too thin to have eaten a cake for 124 people.
I see your point, Kate.
Who is the other person?
Well, see for yourself, Kate.
George! Not the boss!
That's what it says, Kate. Mr. Leonard Patterson.
Well, I'll be. Where do we start, George?
I'll tell you where we start, Kate. We start with the boss's room.
George! We can't do that!
Why not, Kate?
Oh, well, first of all, you would need a search warrant. Secondly, you know right well that your brother Morton would never give you a search warrant. He wouldn't even give you a search warrant for your own bedroom. Thirdly, George, you know that the boss's room is upstairs. You don't want to go up there again, do you?
I see your point, Kate. Well, our only other option is surveillance. We're going to have to put a tail on the boss. If only we can catch him in the act of doing something to destroy the fun of the campers, we've got our man.
Okay, George. Full surveillance gear?
Well, of course, Kate. You know the important key to successful surveillance is full surveillance gear. We need to be inconspicuous. Kate, maybe that surveillance idea wasn't a very good idea after all.
Maybe so.
You know, sometimes I get the feeling as though I just wasn't cut out for detective work. I just don't know anymore.
The door, George, the door!
Yeah, I'm getting it, I'm getting it.
They got Molly!
What?
They got Molly!
Molly who?
Molly Moo!
Who has Molly Moo?
We don't know!
Well, where have they got Molly Moo?
Across a cabin. Feel very strange noises coming from it.
You've seen Molly Moo? And she's in a cabin? I think we've got our man. Kate, let's roll!
There it is there, Kate. The cabin the campers described. Let's go in for a closer look.
Well, George, what did you see?
Well, I'll tell you, Kate. I saw ice cream melted all over the floor. I saw archery equipment. I saw chocolate cake. I saw Molly Moo tied up in the corner with my brother Bill. And that's not all, Kate.
No.
I saw Louie Huey.
Louie Huey? Who is Louie Huey?
Well, Louie Huey, he's the old bird that did the news program last year at the camp.
Oh, yes, yes.
And, I don't know.
That's it!
What?
That's it. George, Louie Huey. L-H.
Hey, Kate, I think you're right. I think you might be right there.
We have our man, George. Let's roll.
Okay, Kate. Oh, but just wait. This will be a direct confrontation. I think we should lose our full surveillance gear. Ready, Kate?
Ready, George?
Who is it?
This is the Pugnet Police. Special Agents Monday and Franklin. Please come out. We want to talk to you. Please step out.
How do I know you're the Pugnet Police? How do I know that? I want to see your badge.
Very well.
That doesn't have a P on it. That has an F on it. What's the F stand for on your jacket?
What, this F?
Yeah, that F.
This F stands for Franklin. But wait a minute, we're here asking the questions.
Go ahead. Ask the questions. I don't have anything to hide.
Oh, yeah? Can you tell me just why, if you have nothing to hide, why do you have ice cream oozing out of the corners of your cabin? And why did my partner, here George, find archery equipment and chocolate cake in your cabin? And most of all, why do you have Molly Moo and Bill tied up in your cabin?
Well, that's easy to explain. It's Bill's birthday. I had him come over for ice cream. And after dinner, we decided we're going to play a few games, and we were practicing a few Pathfinder knots.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what about the archery equipment?
Well, they didn't have any place to store it, so I said, sure, You can use my place to store the archery equipment.
Come on, Louie. Don't play games with us. We are highly trained professionals here. We can tell when someone's hiding the truth. Can't we, Kate?
That's right, George.
You might as well come right out and admit it, Louie Huey. You're the one that's been doing all the things around here on campus to spoil the campers' fun. And why do you have Molly and Bill tied up in there?
I can't do the news. Nobody's gonna do the news. I was good at doing the news. Why didn't they ask me to do the news again? If I can't have fun, nobody's gonna have fun. If I can't do the news, no one's gonna do the news.
I think you better come along with us, Louie. Read him his rights, George.
You can't book me.
Why is that, Louie?
What? George!
You take care of the news people, Kate. I'm going after Huey.
Oh, you're not going to run after him, are you?
It's the only way, Kate.
Oh, well, be careful,